Time for another homebrew. I'm using my electric converted boiler again. And for those of you that have seen my first video, you know that I've been using this for a bit, how I'm brewing inside, but it's for small batches because we have some limitations here in Canada for power restrictions. To be able to brew in my kitchen, I really need to be able to only use about 1600 watts, so this thing can only do smaller batches. Now, having said that, it can only do normal kind of percentage beers because the grains themselves max out in this little system, and I'm really kind of feeling like I want a bigger beer, and specifically a Belgian, maybe a triple. And I started looking at how I can do that on this small system, and so today I decided that I'm going to do a partial mash and then throw in some DME and some candy sugar to bring up the alcohol, and go from there, see what we got. So my plan today is to mash in about 68C, about 2 kilos of German Pilsner malt that I happen to have. I got to use that up, and we'll see what we get in terms of extraction from that, and then add in as much Pilsen and sparkling amber dry malt extract that I have available, and some clear candy sugar, and we'll try and aim for 8 to 8.5% on this, and use a Belgian ale yeast and see how close we can get to a decent triple. Okay, just finished mashing in. Unfortunately, you can't hold a camera while that two-hand process. It's impossible to show, at least with my stuff. So I've got the temperature set at 68 degrees Celsius. Little bit higher right now. We're sitting at 70. That'll come down. I had to turn the pump off while I was mashing, just to get things out of the way. So I'm gonna start the timer now, and I think I'll mash for probably 75 minutes. Seems to be working well with this this Pilsner malt that I have. So I'll check back in later. Probably in the last 15 minutes I'll raise the temperature to 70 or 71, and just make things a little easier to wash. Anyway, check back in a bit. Okay, so I mashed for 85 minutes instead of 75 minutes, just to try and get a little bit more efficiency out. The basket has been raised, and I put a little bit, maybe just shy of a liter of water over top, just to rinse the grains a little bit. I was just a bit under on volume. So now, looking at the sight glass, I'm just over 14, closer to 14.5 liters, which is kind of where I wanted to be. I'll do a gravity reading and then see if I'm still in line with the amount of DME and candy sugar that I want to add, and make any adjustments along the way. Okay, I just checked my hop situation, and of course I don't have the hops that I want, so we're going to do a substitution. The 60-minute hops here is going to be German Hallertau, and still go with 14 grams. And then the 30-minute edition, I'm going to use Saaz as originally planned. And then the last one is, I'm going to try German Pearl hops. And I think that'll be a little bit more spicy, but spicy. It says minty, but I never get minty. And then a little bit of floral notes, but we'll add that one at the end. And again, I'm going to go with 14 grams, which is going to push the IBUs up to about 30-ish, which is okay for the style, but a little higher than what I originally planned. But you got to go with what you got. So anyway, going in. Sorry, it's hard to see. Give it a stir. Get them all in there. Now come back for the next edition. Okay guys, I've done a pre-boil gravity and I'm at 1065, which means that post-boil gravity I'll probably be about 1068, 1069 if everything goes according to how my system works. So what I do is I go into Beersmith and I zero out the candy sugar section, and I make sure that I've adjusted the numbers here so that they reflect the 1068 starting gravity. And then I can just go in and calculate how much sugar to add, which will change the ABV level. Now, since I'm looking for somewhere in the neighborhood of 8% alcohol on this one, I calculated that 300 grams will change the original gravity to hopefully 1075, which should get me around 8%. So that's how I do it. Apologize for the terrible video, but it's just a screen, a capture of me doing it live on my Beersmith app. 30 minutes into the boil, time for the second hop edition. Final hop edition time. In goes the pearl. Last 10 minutes, time to throw in some World Clock tablets and the Belgian candy sugar. That's what we have there. It's clear, and this is going to be a bit of a challenge because I don't want it to scorch on the bottom. So in it goes, and get it stirring. As soon as I can't feel any of the crystals on the bottom, I'll add the wort chiller and go for the remaining time, and then quickly chill it, get that yeast in there right away. Okay, here's the sample that I took. A little murky, but showing about 1076 to 1078, maybe 1079, not sure. Have to see when it settles down. But fairly happy with those numbers because I actually didn't have 300 grams of candy sugar left. I only had 245, so I threw that in. And the next step will be just emptying this wort into a bucket and getting the yeast into it. Another successful brew day done. Looking at the numbers, we hit 1081 and plug that into Beersmith, and looks like it should be pretty good. The numbers here are showing that if I had a starting gravity of 1074, that I could finish with an ABV of 7.8%. So I may come close to the 8%. I'll fiddle with the numbers just to see if I can get it to show exactly 1081 on the original gravity, and see what the ABV is going to be. But time for a home brew, only this time it's a home ferment. This is my cider. I love it. And I'm going to try it in my new Fork River glass. Just going to kick back and enjoy this. It was a good brew day. Anyway, I'll try and post some more video of the beer as it's coming along, but it's going to be a while. Being a triple, it's going to be a few months yet. Cheers, everybody.